Hello, I'm Jan, and today I'm going to show you how to do the roll and whip method using my Bernina 570. Now do keep in mind you can use this on other machines, these methods. You just might have to adjust a few settings like your zigzag, and you'll have to work with your foot to see how that works. Okay. So the first thing you're going to want to know is what kind of threads are you going to use with the roll and whip method. Okay, we've got an assortment of Mettler threads. Those are size 60. Those work well. Then I have the Madeira. That's a 60 weight as well. And then the Aurifil 80 weight. This is the Mako brand or the Mako type of Aurifil. And I have silk thread size 100 on the machine, which is what we're using. And of course, you're going to use batiste, or you can use voile, or very lightweight linen. And the pins you can use, if you're going to use pins, is use the silk pins because they have a thinner shaft and they have a glass head. So if you iron over it, it won't melt the heads, unlike those plastic head pins. And what kind of needles are we using? The Microtex is the preferred one. This is a size 60. You can use the Universal. This is a size 70, which is what I have in the machine. And for you ladies wondering where the Bernina needles are made, I Googled it and it said that they were made in Germany. And guess what? They're made at the Schmetz factory, so it's as good as a needle as your Schmetz brand. Okay, let's move over to the sewing machine and try this method out. Okay, we're going to start with the number 2 stitch, which is your basic zigzag stitch. And you just have a little adjustment here. Just go over to the stitch knob and turn that to where it no longer reads the default of 3.6, but over to 5.5. That seems to work for me. And we'll keep the length the same at default 1.50. Okay, to start with, we're going to use the number 1C foot. This is the basic foot that comes with pretty much all Berninas. And I'm using it because most of us don't have the 0 foot, which works very well, but came with the older machines. They do make it 2 ways, one to fit the older machines, and there is one to fit these newer models. And there are a couple of other feet that you can use, but we're going with the one that most of us own. Okay, and then you might want to also use the single hole throat plate. That's recommended. I don't have one to fit this machine. I had the old 180, and that the single hole plate for that does not, it is not the same size. It's like off by like less than 1/4 of an inch. And so I've got to purchase a new one. So I've got my needle in. I got the size 70 Universal. And I've already programmed into the computer, into the computerized sewing machine, the needle size, and the foot. So you'll want to do that. Okay, let's place this under the machine. I've got a little piece of batiste here. Okay, how do we place it under the 1C foot? So pay attention to this little center mark here. See that center mark on the 1C foot? And then the very tip of the right toe, you want to in between those 2 marks, the center mark and the right toe. And that leaves you about 1/16 of an inch to the feed dog. So I'm going to lower the presser foot. And some of you ladies may want to hold your tails. But if you start in like almost 1/2 inch, you shouldn't have to. And let's just stitch down and see what happens. There. Did you see that? You want the right swing of the needle to swing just over the edge of your fabric. Then the left swing needs to come over into the fabric. There it goes. Okay, let's go again. There. And let's keep stitching. There, it's now, if you can see that, it's rolling the fabric. I'm going slow for you. Now, on my old Bernina, my 180, it would roll the fabric to the front. This machine rolls the fabric to the back. It doesn't matter as long as the fabric is rolling. Okay, we're going to raise the foot and cut the threads with the scissors button. There. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? There's your rolled edge. And then if we turn it, there's the back side. It's perfect looking. Let me turn it over. There. So that's the rolled and whipped edge. So when you're picking out your fabrics, make sure that you pick a very soft fabric, like we said, batiste. You can use Swiss batiste. I'm using Pima cotton batiste here, and there's also Imperial batiste that you can use, which is a partial poly blend along with cotton. And then you can use some lightweight linen. And you also want a clean cut edge so that you have no little pokies showing. And some people call them eyelashes. And this way you'll get a clean edge when you do your roll and whip. So you want to guide, like I said, guide your fabric on the right swing so it swings just off the edge. And then the left swing will enter the fabric. And you can hold your threads when you're starting, but notice I did not do that and it did not get sucked down. Okay. So we've completed and readied the edge of the fabric to attach lace or just to leave as is. And that is the fabric roll and whipping edge that you can use in your heirloom sewing and some other finishes that aren't heirloom. And that's all done with the 1C foot instead of going out of your way and buying the 0 foot. Why do that when you can use a foot that all of us Bernina owners own? And for you ladies not using Berninas, you'll have to experiment with how your foot works on your machine because your foot is possibly a little different. Maybe you have a center mark, maybe you don't. Maybe you have the left and right toes that are different sizes. But you should be able to get it following this video. So have a nice day, and we'll see you on the next video.